Hello, hello, everyone, and thanks for tuning in today. We have a very exciting guest, founder and CEO of the Spark House, Torrey Tayenaka. Did I say that right, Tori?
Yes, perfect.
Okay, great. The Spark House is a video production agency developing strategic brand films, lots of commercials and ads. And I'm your host, Suze Barnes from DGTL, and we specialize in helping marketing agencies scale their revenue. So if you want to learn how to take your business to the next level, stick around. And if you're interested in a consultation, just drop the word growth in the DMs. Tori, tell us a little bit about the Spark House and your role.
Yes. SparkHouse, I started a version of it. We rebranded in 2009 or 2010, but I actually started a version of this in 2004 when I was still in high school. So this is all I've been doing.
Nice.
We started a video agency. I didn't really know what it was at the time, but like this is before YouTube. A lot of what we were creating, we thought people wanted videos. We thought people wanted videos on their websites, online, and so it was much more of a technology ask back then because we were trying to compress files and get people to watch videos on AOL, dial-up speed. So we started there, but as we've grown and rebranded, we're really focusing more on branded content. So these are going to be things like TV commercials, connected TV, Amazon ads, Meta ads, things like that. But we do everything video, animation, and photography.
Great. I imagine trying to make videos for websites back in the AOL days was quite challenging. The streaming piece of it was
Yeah,
super annoying.
streaming was tough. The cool thing about it is there was just not video was pretty rare. Now
Mhm.
almost every platform is kind of leading with video, whether
Yeah,
you're on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook. Everything is pushing towards wanting more video content. It's sticky. It keeps people on the websites longer. But again, back then, if you had a video on your website, it was quite impressive. People didn't have that yet. So
sure, sure. What does a typical day look like for you? I imagine you are doing lots of different things since you're running your business as well as uh, in the production side, I assume. Yeah.
yeah, so it's obviously evolved through the years. Initially, I have a background in cinematography, so I was our lead cinematographer. So I was working actually in the field, but probably over the last 5-10 years, I've really pushed more into the biz dev side, client management, and strategy. So a lot of what I do is consult with companies and brands, learn about why they think they need video, figure out what type of video is going to work best for their goals, and then we kind of put those packages together. And then once those are signed off on, I'm still hands on, which I think you mentioned at the beginning. Hard to step away completely, but we do have a team now that actually does all the writing, the producing, the filming and editing, and then I just kind of check in and make sure that it's to the level that we're looking to deliver or what we promise, basically.
Super interesting. How many people do you have on your team?
So full time, we have 8 of us, mix of remote and in our studio. We have a studio here in Costa Mesa. So on a daily basis, there's normally two, three, four, five to six of us here in the offices actually working together, and then we have um, 4 full time remote. That whether they're doing admin work, they're doing some editing and things like that. Um, but then on a weekly basis, we normally film about 2 days a week. And those production days, we scale up to probably anywhere from 10 to 20 subcontractors that are going to be on set working with us. We don't keep full-time hair and makeup on staff, right? We source those in for the productions, and we also bring in specialty, whether it's directors and DPs that fit the project that we're working on. So we have comedy writers that we would bring in for specific, projects versus something that might be like a beauty product or something a little bit more corporate. We kind of can offer any type of video.
Super. Um, I imagine you had some trouble sort of hiring people in the beginning, wanting to do most of the work yourself before expanding out. And the topic of today's talk is how smart marketers struggle with letting go. Was that something that you had trouble doing?
Yeah, definitely. And it was a little bit different. I did have two business partners that were part owners
Hmm.
at the beginning. So we were able to kind of not let go while also kind of letting go to each other because we all kind of took ownership. So we had, again, I was on the biz dev and the cinematography side. We had someone in operations and producing, and then we had someone on creative. So we kind of separated the roles, and that was really good. But yeah, as we started hiring people, what we really found out was we had a process in our head. We had um, the goals, we had everything in our head. We didn't put it out on paper, we didn't put it into a process, we didn't lay out steps or SOPs. So it did take a while to kind of document all of that. And so um, now that we have the processes in line, we can kind of drop people in and they can follow um, the steps that we want. And we're not just like hoping they figure out what's inside our head.
Yeah. So you'd probably recommend someone, if they're starting an agency, to think through the processes that they use and maybe even consider some partnerships. Is that
Yeah.
right?
Yeah. I think like at the beginning, um, I always thought every project is super unique. Every client's super unique. Every video is super unique. So we can't build a process that's going to work. Everything's unique. Um, but the more we got to it, there's always a process, and whether that process is build a process for each project, or like there's steps that you can outline so that your team follows the to the level that you want it to.
Hmm. Yes, great. And insights. What major shifts are you seeing in your industry today, this year?
This year, obviously, I mean, AI just keeps going, right? Keeps getting better. We're not seeing a huge impact with the way that we're working on it, just because I guess stepping back, I feel like AI can help create a lot of photography assets, a lot of video assets on the low end. But when it's getting into higher end, higher quality, or particular creative, it's almost more work to use AI to create it. And I'm not saying that tomorrow that might not change. It's changing rapidly, but we just don't. Yeah, the type of clients that we have, unless they want to dedicate hours and hours themselves to replacing us with AI, they're basically um, they're getting stuck with what they already had before. But we are taking advantage of a lot of AI when it comes to like testing some of our concepts, comparing them to other historical ideas and things and creatives. Really good for brainstorming, really good for organizing shots and things like that. We just haven't really used it too much for the actual content creation. A little bit on voiceover, which has been kind of amazing, which I think is the tip of the iceberg, right? Like you can have Snoop Dogg voice over your commercial,
Yeah.
and it sounds pretty real. I can still hear it, but to most people, they won't notice, and so I can imagine video is going to be right around the corner for that as well.
Sure. I actually remember, maybe it was a year or two ago, I got a voicemail from Snoop Dogg, which I was super impressed with because it sounded, just like him. And I was like, wow, this is interesting that people are going that far to use the voices on the voicemails. What are you doing, any AI kind of stuff for your business strategy or business growth?
Uh, I guess not specifically. AI to the for growth, but we are using AI to develop like apps and develop
Hmm.
internal processes and softwares. We have, whether it's GPTs that are already pre-programmed to help us write our newsletters, proofread some of our kickoffs, creating agendas, things like that. Um, so I would say, like on day to day, like admin work, we're living in that space. But it's on a weekly basis. We kind of meet up and go like, how far behind are we, guys? We got to keep thinking. We got to keep figuring out how to use it more and more and more, before we look back and say, hey, we missed that train.
Interesting. Do you feel like you're sort of close to the cutting edge, or you feel like you're behind already?
It kind of goes, depends on what crowd you're in. So I'm in a
Yeah.
couple groups, and some of
Hmm.
the groups I'm like, dang, you guys are, waking up every day and just trying to figure out everything. And, I'm just making sure that I'm hopping onto those talks and those keynotes and keeping up to date there. But yeah, then I talk to some other groups, entrepreneur groups, or even like marketing and networking groups, creative teams, and I'm asking certain things, and they're not touching it at all. Or I think, they think I'm leagues ahead of them, and so
Yeah.
it just kind of depends where you're at.
Yeah, there is a huge range of skill sets, right?
Yeah, I think you can always use more, but it's just like I said, I've been running this business. Um, for about 20 years now. It's a balance. Like you can be mega super pro at every software, but you also have to work sometimes and actually get some of this stuff done.
Exactly. And you need some soft skills too, right? People skills and ways to sell, and all of that experience that you have isn't replaceable with AI necessarily.
Yeah, and I think it's a mix. I really enjoy the fact that we are a production company. So 80% of our company will be out in the field working together. I mean, little stuff, even having like lunch on set, things like that. I think is a big difference. But we also, just as an agency, when we're not on set, we seem to be one of the few now that are still in the office, hanging out. So many of these agencies, or at least in Orange County, that I'm seeing, they're just fully remote. And I feel like, yeah, there is a lot of disconnect. There's not a lot of culture. It's hard to keep a team feeling like a team when you only see everyone on Christmas time.
Yeah, certainly. Culture is super important, especially if you're looking to, grow your agency, grow your business. What would you say is working well for you right now? And conversely, what's been frustrating?
Um, Working well right now. I mean, like I said, our process, we're constantly trying to tweak it and make it better without, again, spending too much time in there. I like the fact that as of right now, if we get, I would say, 80% of the types of clients that we get, we have a very clear process. Our team can execute it. There's not a lot of, hey, we have to sit down and figure this out. It's not cookie cutter, but it's something that we can repeat and we can grow. I really, as a business owner, that's something that I've always been striving for, so that I'm not stuck figuring it all out. Um, but I will say, there's always room for improvement there. On the business side, I think one thing that I am looking at trying to optimize or systemize is our sales and onboarding process. We have a ton of leads, we have a ton of referrals, and it's very hard to kind of filter out what is a good lead, what's a good project, a good fit for us. Every client tells us that they're a good fit for us, and then sometimes it takes us a couple weeks to figure out that they weren't. And so that's where I'm getting stuck, doing a lot of not labor, but having to actually sit there, take phone calls, meet with these people, and figure out whether or not they're a good fit, before I hand them off to the rest of my team.
You almost need a screener, like, to get the quality clients, but you still
Yeah,
want to be.
it's a balance of that. Yeah, we want to screen them, but we don't want to screen out the good ones that are in a
Yeah.
rush. We had a client call me yesterday saying, I need a video to play at a stadium in 2.5 weeks, and we need it on 10 different screens and 10 different formats. And so it's like, we literally put together a proposal that last night, and we said, you have to sign it tomorrow morning, otherwise we're not going to be able to do it. And again, I'm always sitting there like, I would love to have a screener get rid of all the junk, but that screener would have lost us that job because we would just slow down that process. But again, you know, uh, there's unique cases all the time.
Sure. So that's the frustrating side, not being able to kind of get the quality that you're looking for immediately. You have to kind of weed out who you want to work with and who you don't. I mean, it's a good problem to solve, right? To be able to have the choice of who to work with. What kind of metrics are you focused on? Are you looking to improve in your business?
Obviously, profit is always going to be a big one. We
Mhm.
definitely track profit, but we do have a whole basic grading, internal grading for our team that we do for every single project when we wrap up. One of the metrics is how long the project took from kickoff to final delivery. Again, this can be a unique case. Long projects don't necessarily mean they're bad, but if they didn't have to be long, It's just a waste of our time and energy. So we want speedy projects. We want profitable projects. And then we do have kind of multiple grades for how happy is the client with the project and how happy are we with the project, whether that's for our team got to flex our creative abilities. We didn't just do that basic video over and over again. Are we going to submit it to an award show this year? Is it worthy of something like that? And so we're constantly trying to track those. And basically, the way that we're doing that is on a project by project basis. We score it on all of those levels, and if we get any projects that are scoring really high, then it's my job to go make sure that that person wants to work with us again, give us a couple more jobs, because that's where we want to push our agency to be producing that type of video.
Interesting. Do you have like everybody at the company score and then you take the average of the final score?
Yeah, again, it's something that's been evolving. We've done stuff where people voted remotely, like the whole company, clicked on a forum. But we also did one where we vote in person. We do kind of an all hands meeting. So if we happen to have a project wrapping up, we'll do a vote during that time. And then the fun part is we normally kind of argue and negotiate it with each other to get your score to actually be the score. Because we have a lot of people that are like, hey, I think it's a 7 out of 10. Someone's like, no, this is a 4 out of 10, and we kind of learn from each other and kind of see where everyone else is trying to what project they like as well. So we are at a point where I would say each person is probably working on like 1/3 of the projects that are coming through here. And so, again, as a business owner, I like the fact that I have the ability, if there's room, if a certain person doesn't like working on a certain type of client or a certain client, we put them on a different person, and we can kind of make sure everyone's excited to come to work.
Well, yeah, and often the personalities don't gel, right? And you have to kind of it's always business is always about who the client is and what kind of person they are as well. So
Yeah, actually, that's another AI software. We're using some stuff to do personality assessments of our clients.
wow, interesting.
For I don't know where they're getting the information. They're pulling it from LinkedIn and they're saying this is how they want to be talked to. This is how that you should be presenting ideas and budgets and strategies. And so we definitely take that into consideration, especially on the sales side. But then also when we're trying to negotiate creative. Some clients are a little bit more receptive than others when giving critiques and ideas and things that are contradicting to what they're thinking.
Sure. I had a colleague once that said, I will never work with someone by the name of X. I'm not going to say the name because he had worked with this person, several people with that name, and it never worked out. So it was kind of like if you had that name, you were this certain personality. So he decided he was never going to work with anyone with that name again, which is
You got to just introduce them to a baby named that
yes,
name, and you can't be mad at a baby. But
no, exactly, yeah, or a pet, right? So where do you want to be in 6 to 12 months from now in your business?
So again, so I have a business coach I meet with every 2 weeks. We're constantly making, tiny incremental goals. We do have, what he calls our champagne moment for the year. So champagne moment would be, increasing, revenue for over last year by 20%. That's what we're targeting there. Um, and so the goal to get there is going to be right now is increasing our referrals, increasing, our inbound leads, and we're doing that through some various online marketing and things like that. And then the hopeful problem that will arise when we get that is the growing pains of whether we need to add people or change some of the processes to be able to execute at the level that we're still doing now, but with more workload coming in.
Sure, I love the champagne moment. Like, do you actually have champagne at that time?
If we actually hit it, yeah, it's in my other office. He gave us a like a champagne bucket that says, your moment, and
Nice. So you can sort of look forward to that day when
yeah,
when it
exactly,
actually comes. Yeah, it's good to celebrate the little. This would be a big win at that point,
yeah.
right?
And
Yeah.
the goal with my coach, his name's Nick, is also because part of the bigger goal is to be able to work remotely, work while traveling, and so he always wants my champagne moment to be while I'm on vacation somewhere, while the team is actually executing it for me.
Nice. So you can just take out a few minutes to cheers everyone and
Yeah.
continue vacation. That's great. If you could solve one major challenge today, what would it be?
Within my business,
Yeah.
um, I think if we could onboard and train um, project managers faster. That seems to be a unique, and I don't know if it's in every marketing company, but like video specific, there's people who love producing videos, didn't go to school for anything else but video production.
Yeah.
So project management, deadlines, timelines, it's a unique bird. So we're still playing with it, but trying to figure out, should we be training project managers to understand film, or should we be training filmmakers to care about project management, and kind of finding those balances?
Yeah, I bet that's challenging because you want some of both. You want them to be passionate about the industry as well, but you want them to be super organized. And project management is definitely not a sexy a sexy job title.
Yeah,
Um,
and we joke kind of jokingly a little bit. We say we want our team to fight each other because we think that that's going to give us the best results. So whether it's the account manager fighting with our team to get what the client wants, our creative director fighting to make the best creative piece of content that we've ever done, and then our project manager making sure that we are doing it efficiently, on time and on budget. And if we all butt heads, but we can do it efficiently and do it friendly, then we can do, that's where we got a good, well-oiled machine.
nice. Yeah, I like it. I think giving a positive spin to the fighting piece. Finally, how and where can people find you, Tori?
So the our company is Sparkhouse, so the sparkhouse.com. The same thing for all the socials, Instagram and TikTok and Facebook. And then me personally, my personal website is Torrey, TORREYT.com. And that has links to some of my other ventures and some of my writings and things like that as well.
Cool. I didn't know that. I'll have to actually go and take a look and learn more about
Well,
you.
now I got to go update it because it's probably out of date, but it's there. It's got a picture of my
Always.
face.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
always that's the thing with digital, right? We're always having to update everything, feeling behind. Well, this was great. Thank you so much for sharing these insights. I'm sure the audience will enjoy learning from you and getting inspired about some of the things that you've shared with us today.
Yeah. Thanks for having me. Awesome. I appreciate you. We'll talk to you next week then.
Thanks, Tori. Take care.
All right. Yeah.